Thank you very much. So, live coding session, finger crossed. Hi, I'm Fabien Vauchelles. So, I've been deeply enthusiastic about web scraping for years, and I'm working with proxy anti-bot system. I work also at Wyomine, which is a revenue management company, and we are doing scraping a lot of prices on a daily basis. So we invest a lot in the web scraping technology. I also would like to share with you one open source project that I'm maintaining and I created, so which is Proxy, and I will demo you that. So basically, Proxy is a free and open source proxy, so you can manage your cloud provider proxy services, route traffic with Proxy, and I will demo you that after. But before we dive into a presentation, I would like to introduce someone. So, enter Isabella. Isabella is a final year student in IT school. She has a brilliant mind, a lot of energy, and a thirst for traveling. Every year, Isabella is embarking from a 1 month backpacking journey into a random country. And here is a twist. His 1 month backpacking journey consumed her entire year in preparations. So she couldn't help but notice there is a gap in the market. Why wasn't there such a tool in 2024 in a digital AI pump with a lot of AI? So I think it could be a ticket to a successful business. But Isabella realized that creating such a tool need a vast amount of data. And this vast amount of data will train a large language model to curate her ultimate trip. So let me introduce you the website she chose to scrape. So it's trickyreview.com. So let's go on this website. So it's a demo website. So what's Tricky Review all about? It's your go-to spot to find all accommodation in a city that you want to explore. So imagine that Isabella wants to go to Paris. She will just search on Paris and she will find 50 accommodation in Paris. She is clicking, if she clicks on one accommodation here, she will get the name, the location, the description, the contact, and also the review. It's all about analyzing those reviews. Those reviews contains the sentiment of the customers, and with large language models you can extract these informations. But now let's understand how works the website. So if I'm opening Chrome DevTools and I'm going to the network inspector, just filtering of all requests, keeping preserved log, and going back to the website. So if I'm searching on Paris and after I will click on one hotel, you'll see I'm starting with level 1 URL, which is a home page. After that, I list all accommodation here in Paris, parameter Paris, and I've got the URL for the hotel with all information, so hotel/ID. If I'm going to this request, here on response, I've got the whole HTML with all information about the website, like the review, and I've found the review. Isabella is a newcomer in web scraping. She doesn't want to manage everything, request, error, retry, HTML, parsing, etc. So she will use a framework to do that. Also something that you should know is that this website is super secure. I've implemented different levels of protections that Isabella will bypass over these demonstrations. So now I would like to introduce you something already introduced this morning, Scrappy framework. So Scrappy is open source, it's a Python framework, it manages everything, parsing, the retry of requests, concurrency, the crawl, etc. And it's maintained by a large community. So how it's working? So Scrappy runs spiders. Spiders start with a start request method, which defines the URL to scrap. And when we got the response, clearly we can extract the structured information, like the hotel name. So if I'm now opening my spiders, real spiders, so this is the same. I've got the home page, I'm going to the home page now. After that, I will go to the list of city. When I've got the response, I can do the pagination. You know, it's like flipping the pages of a catalog. And after that, I can extract the hotel link and get all the information here, name, emails, review. So if I'm running this spider, you'll see that I will collect the 50 hotels. Perfect. So now let's move to the next difficulty level, so level 2. So if I'm running again this spider on the level 2, it's very quick, but I've got one big error, which is unknown browsers. To explain you that, I can go back to my Chrome inspector and get on the headers. It's because when Chrome is connecting to the website, it's sending useful information from the website. It's just saying, hey, I'm Chrome, so it's the user agent header. Also, there is associated header, which are ZCHUA, mobile. Here, I will show bigger, platform, etc. So, if I'm going back to my spiders, here I'm just sending scrapey. So I need to modify that. So if I modify the header, so I will use user agent. Yes, thank you, Copilot. ZCH, so yeah, this one, platforms, and if I'm running again the spiders, now I'm sending the right headers and I just bypass the protection. I've got my 50 items. That's perfect. So now let's move to the next level. So it's level 3. So now Isabella will have this kind of error. You see I just collected 20 items. So I've got too many requests, too many requests, too many requests. It's because I'm doing all the requests from my laptop. I just have one IP address. So I need many IP addresses. To do that, I will introduce you proxy. So proxy, if I can get the presentations here. A proxy is a system which relays your request from Spider to the web server. So instead of seeing just one IP address doing many requests, you will see a lot of IP address doing few requests, and you will bypass the rate limit. Of course, there is different type of proxy. The first type is data center proxy. So like VMs that you are installing on Amazon, GCP, AWS. So they are fast, cheap, reliable. It's very interesting. However, there is a problem with that. They have IP address which belong to IP range, and this IP range belongs to autonomous system numbers. Amazon has a lot of autonomous system numbers. And the name of the autonomous system number is Amazon. So if you can track back the information, you can kick the session from the user. But there is a trick, and it is called ISP proxy, Internet Server Provider Proxy. So how ISP proxy works? So it's the same. It's on data center. You have VM which are relaying the information, but they don't use the IP address of the data center. They use the IP address from other provider. So we can rent IP address from Verizon or other provider, Comcast, etc., and get an IP address which can have been belong to a mobile device. And if you are doing that, now your data center IP address is something mixed into the Verizon IP pool, IP range pool. So you will be mixed with mobile ISP address, and you will be very undetectable. And there is a third type of proxy, which are residential proxy. So residential proxy are proxy from which use your mobile device, your real laptop of a user. It's very nice because it's barely undetectable. But how residential proxy works? So imagine that you are a developer, you are developing an application and you want to earn money. So you have three solutions for that. First one is to sell subscriptions. Annual subscription, mobile subscription, which clearly unlock some features. Next solution is to put ads. So you have an ad at the bottom, or you force the user to see a video, and after the video, it's unlocking features. But there is a last solution. This is sharing the bandwidth of the user mobiles. Of course, with the user agreements, but that's where the residential IP address came from. Now I will use Scraproxy to manage all my proxy pool. So let's get back to my spider. So what I will do is just simply run Scraproxy. It's a command line, Docker line. Here you see, it's very simple. And it will run in a second. If I'm connecting to Scraproxy here, the UI, it's admin password, very secure. I've got already one project, I've got a marketplace with a lot of connectors, data center connector, high-speed connector, residential connector, mobile connector, whatever. If you want to add AWS, it's very simple, just add your credential here. I already created AWS connector. I will start. So I can have 10 proxy in a second. And I will go to the proxy list here. And you will see there will be a lot of proxy here. So now I've got my 10 proxy. So it's the name of the instance on the AWS console. I've got status of the proxy, many statistical information metrics, and you will see the real IP address which will appear in a second. So now I've got 10 proxy in Dublin, and I can configure that with a map, and I can see they are in Dublin. Okay, that's perfect. So now I will plug that to my spider. It's very easy. I will just copy paste a small code. Allow me to do that. If I'm doing that, it's very easy. So I just add one middleware and the connection parameters of Scraproxy. And if I'm running that again, now Scraproxy using multiple IP addresses, the spider 2, and I've got my 50 item. That's nice. So now let's increase the protections. I will do the level 4 and run again my spiders. And now I've got a big error, which is data center are forbidden. So I need to use another type of proxy. So I already configured some proxy. Here, I will close this one, sorry. Yeah, it's this one. So I won't modify my spider. It's internal in Scraproxy. I already added some connector I will use in the US. Here, this one. I will start another one from Byte. I will use 10 proxy. This one. I will scale up also this one to 10 proxy. Perfect. I can combine a lot of providers. That's the coolest thing with Scraproxy. So here I will add also 10. Start this one and just shut down Scraproxy because I don't want to pay for my AWS instance. I'm a little screwed. So now if I'm checking on the coverage, I've got a lot of proxy in the US. So that's perfect. Let me run again the spider. And if I'm doing that now, I will have every item scrapped. And you will see that I will get my 50 items. So now I'm using US proxy. That's perfect. So now let's increase the level to the level 4 and go through very advanced protections. So if I'm running again the spider, this time I have got a big error which is no fingerprint. How does it work? So most websites, when you are going to them, it's here. Most websites, I will go to here, so level 5, perfect. Removing the filters, that's perfect. So websites are using anti-bot systems, and as you see, we need to find the anti-bot request. There is a lot of GET requests here, but here, if I'm going down, I've got a POST request and another one. So the website is doing POST requests at regular intervals. I will check what the browser is sending to the server. And we are sending very useful information to the server. We are sending the real user agent, the time zones, the platforms. So now if I want to bypass the antibot system, I need to have a real browser. I cannot use Scrapy anymore. I need that Scrapy control a real browser and do the request. So to do that, I will introduce you a very nice framework, which is called, you will see, Playwright. Who know Playwright? Cool. So Playwright is a headless browser, but for the demo it will be headful. It can execute JavaScript, run Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Safari. It's open source and maintained by Microsoft. So if I'm just running a spider for Playwright, so I already created one Playwright spiders. It's quite the same. I just added custom download handlers, and it's the same. I've got the home page scrub, the list of pages, the paginations, and extracting information, name, email, review. Same spiders. So if I'm running now this spider for Playwright, you will see that Scrapy will start a Chrome instance. So now I'm going to the home page automatically without hand. And I'm sending the fingerprint to the web server. The server allow me, and now I'm doing very quickly all the requests. And in a few seconds, I will have my 50 items. So as you see, it's very fast. I'm not loading the CSS, the images, because I'm valid on the website, and I've got just 47. There should be some issue. But I've got my items. So now let's move to the next level, level 6. So if I'm running again these spiders, so you will see it will start Chrome, it will open Chrome, going to the home page, sending the fingerprint to the web server. But when I'm going to the list of hotels, accommodations, I've got another error, which is inconsistent time zone. It is because the web server uses this fingerprint. It's not just collecting the fingerprint, it will check consistency. And now we are using US IP address, but our time zone is based in Vilnius. So I need to have some consistency. So I will just modify my Playwright parameters, set that my time zone is not in Europe, but in America, here Chicago. Perfect. And if I'm running again the spider, so it will open Chrome. When Chrome is opened, it will go to the home page, sending the fingerprint, the web server check the consistency, and now you see I've got the list of pages and I can do all the requests. Perfect. So I will stop just here. So thank you very much. You saw just everything. Download Scrapboxy and join my company.
Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Yep.
Just was wondering why using Playwright rather than Selenium, and also when you start using Playwright, then there is not the possibility to, for example, scrap on the cloud or independent from your personal laptop or independent from an open computer.
Yes, you can do both. You can use Selenium for sure. There is also Puppeteer, but Puppeteer is less adapted for Pythons. The beauty of Playwright, it is well connected with Scrapy. So as you see, it's very simple to maintain your spiders. So for the first question, for the second question, it's basically a headless browser. So you can run Playwright inside the Docker. So it can run on your cloud. There is plenty of images of Puppeteer that you can run. With Selenium, there is also Selenium Grid, if I remember correctly, which can be clearly scaled on your cloud. Yes?
Can you please explain once more how did you integrate the Scrapy with Playwright and show the code?
And?
And show the code.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's like request something.
Yes, it's here. So basically, you just change the download handlers. By default, Scrapy use request internally. So he's doing HTTP classic request with Python library. And now we are not using that, so you can override this path. So Playwright provides this handler, and now the request commands go to Playwright. Playwright is using a drivers, and there is another technique which is not Selenium, not Playwright, not Puppeteer, is to build your own farm and use the Chrome DevTool protocol. And you can pilot Chrome DevTool. It is more powerful because it's barely indetectable. Says Playwright, Selenium, Puppeteer has automation flag in JavaScript, so you can do Windows.dom automation, and you know that it's an automated system. Of course, you can add to the Docker file of Playwright plugin, and the Playwright extra still plugin override this kind of information, so it's a cat and mouse game, but you can also detect that. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to ask, basically in the previous talk you also mentioned like antibot vendors can also detect and use like the behavior analytics, like your mouse or whatever, and also like these automation frameworks like Playwright. And they can also be detected. I mean, there's also like open source forks for like stealth behavior or whatever. But like, how would you recommend going about bypassing these without affecting the execution time by too much?
Yeah, the question also is how much request do you want to do in a day or in an hour? So for that you will scale or if you don't need to do so much request, you will have delays. Of course not static delay. Don't do sleep 2000. Do random stuff. It's more like human. For the mouse movement, there is PyAutoGuy, and there is you can emulate basic curves of the mouse. So it will run inside the Docker, but you emulate all the human behaviors. You can add delays, so it's more difficult for the antibot to detect.
But for that, you can't really, I guess, use headless browsers. You actually have to, well, display the browser, I guess.
To sorry?
You can't really, I guess you can't really use the headless browser for that, so it's harder a bit for scaling.
If the latest thing that I want to experiment is to start a virtual machine in Windows, so there is no Dockers, and you run Chrome browser. And Chrome browser you can pilot with the Chrome Dev protocols. So no antibot can detect the Chrome Dev protocols. Yep, you have.
Yeah. When you run Playwright, can you still use the rotating proxies?
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
Here Playwright is plugged on Scrapoxy, and Scrapoxy also has a good feature for browser. It is doing sticky session with cookie. Basically, if you are doing residential proxy, the issue is that if you directly plug that without forcing the sessions, the first request will go through Vilnius, the second through Paris, the CSS through UK, and so on. So you basically, after 3 requests, you're dead. So you need to send all the requests, so JavaScript, CSS, images, HTML, whatever data, from the same outbound IP address. And Scrapoxy has an option to do that.
Do we have any other?
Yeah, 2 questions. Regarding AWS costs, it will be costly, but you showed several other proxies.
Yeah.
They also, you need to pay for that if we use it?
Yeah, you have to pay for your proxy.
And one more question regarding data centers. Like there was error about data centers, but if there are normal services using AWS, will they be blocked as well, or is a proxy like?
It depends. The thing is, what I explained this morning is that you should be incremental in terms of approach, because data center proxy are cheap, are not working on not all websites. After, if it's not, it's like a retry strategy. First, you start with data center. You do some retry, perhaps 3 retry. If it's not working, okay, you go upper. So you go to ISP proxy, you do retry. If it's not working, you are going residential. Okay, you do retry. If it's not working, you go mobiles, and so on. And the price at each time increase. But it depends on your request. If you are using this strategy, most of the time you are staying on the bottom side and you reduce your cost by clearly 20%. So I've got some analysis of a guy who analyzed the proxy, and you made 20% cost reduction with that.
Do we have any other questions?
Yes?
Is there, if we assume there are 100 billion websites existing, is there some kind of index of each website and the level you will have to go? I mean, does some kind of tool exist or would tend to exist?
Yeah, the thing is more, you go on a website and you have something which analyzes the website and give you information about the protections. So the thing that you should know is there is 2 types of protection. There is commercial protection and internal protection. LinkedIn, Twitter has internal protection, dedicated teams. And other websites can buy protection from about 7, 8 commercial protection in the world. And there is a tool called Wapalizer, perhaps you know. It lists all the technology of the website, Wapalizers. And you can also have a security section and it will say, okay, it's Akamai, okay, it's Datadom, okay, it's Casadai, and so on. So you will have the information. Also, there is some Discord server and you just drop the URL address and they run a lot of script. I don't know how they are doing that, but they say, okay, this one is shared security, etc. So you know how to start, because clearly when you are using Akamai, it's always the same. For shared security, it's always JavaScript virtual machine, etc.
Okay, so let's say thanks to Fabien.